The New Testament quotes a banned book. Most pastors won't tell you which one, but it's right there. In Jude 1:14, and what's inside that book includes a list. 7 names that the church voted to erase. In 364 AD, the Book of Enoch, written somewhere between 300 and 200 BCE, contains a list, 7 angels, 7 assignments, and by the 5th century, church councils had quietly removed it from the biblical canon. Why? Today we're going inside chapter 20, the actual source text, and we're looking at each of those 7 names, what they were assigned to do, and why that assignment still matters. First, why 7? The number doesn't appear by accident. Revelation 8:2 speaks of 7 angels who stand before God. Jewish, Christian, and Coptic traditions all circle back to 7 figures in the immediate presence of God. But their names? That's where things get complicated. Because different traditions list different names entirely. The one list that every tradition eventually traces back to is chapter 20 of the Book of Enoch. 7 names, 7 assignments. Let's go through each one. Because the further you get down this list, the stranger it becomes. Uriel, assigned over the world and Tartarus. His name in Hebrew means flame of God. In the Book of Enoch, Uriel is the one who shows Enoch the movements of the heavenly bodies, the stars, the seasons, the years, and explains their structure and their origins. He doesn't just carry light. He explains the architecture of time itself, while other angels fight wars or deliver messages. Uriel's job is to make sure you understand what you're looking at. Raphael, assigned over the spirits of men. This one shows up in a book many people actually read. The Book of Tobit. Raphael is not announced as an archangel in Tobit, but he identifies himself at the end as one of the 7 who stand before the Lord. His jurisdiction in Enoch is the spirits of men, not just physical healing, but the interior life of a human being. He walks beside Tobias through an entire journey before revealing who he is. He doesn't announce himself. He just shows up and stays. Raguel, assigned to take vengeance on the world of the luminaries. His name means friend of God, but his role is accountability. The Book of Enoch assigns Raguel to enforcement, specifically holding the heavenly order accountable when it breaks down. The one that stopped me when I first read this list was Raguel, because his job isn't to fight, heal, or deliver messages. His job is to hold the heavenly order accountable. When it breaks, every system, spiritual or human, eventually needs someone who watches. The people doing the watching. That's been true in every institution that has ever existed. Enoch just gave that role a name. Michael, assigned over the best part of mankind and over chaos. In the Book of Enoch, Michael is called the merciful and long-suffering, identified as the leader of the archangels, the one who instructed others, and bound the fallen watchers. This is different from the purely warrior image. That tends to dominate. Yes, Revelation 12 shows him casting out the dragon, but Enoch shows him grieving over the state of humanity before he acts. Mercy first. Force only, if mercy fails. Sarachiel, assigned over the spirits who sin. Of the 7, Sarah Kyle is the one nobody talks about. And I think that's exactly why his assignment matters most. He doesn't oversee the righteous. He doesn't guard paradise. He is specifically placed over the spirits of those who have already gone wrong, not to punish them, but to hold jurisdiction over them. Think about what that means. Even in corruption, there is still a structure. Even in the fall, there is still someone watching. Gabriel, assigned over paradise, the serpents, and the cherubim. That assignment sounds strange until you think about it. Paradise is guarded. The serpents, chaos, temptation, the forces that corrupt, are held in check. And the cherubim, God's highest guard, report to him. Gabriel appears throughout canonical scripture, explaining Daniel's visions, announcing John the Baptist's birth, delivering the news to Mary. He is the hinge between God's plan and human history. He doesn't just carry a message, he carries the announcement that everything is about to change. Remiel, associated with resurrection, and those who rise. Remiel is the last name on the list, and he carries the most unsettling assignment, the souls of those waiting to rise, not death, not judgment, the space in between. Some later Enochic texts replace him entirely with Phanuel, and that's telling, because even among traditions that agreed on almost everything else, the question of what happens between death and resurrection was too contested to settle. Remiel exists in that space of uncertainty. Maybe that's fitting. Here's what strikes me after going through all 7. These names were borrowed from Babylonian tradition during the period of Jewish captivity, around 605 BCE, and then shaped into something entirely different. Beings who serve one God, carry specific responsibilities, and never act on their own authority. Each one of these angels holds jurisdiction over something we treat as private: time, healing, accountability, corruption, death, the space after death, the unseen structure. If Enoch is right, runs straight through the most ordinary parts of human experience. That's not a comfortable idea, and I think that's exactly why this book kept being removed from the canon, not because it was wrong, but because it was specific. One question before you go. Which of the 7 assignments would you least want to hold? Drop it in the comments. I read every one, and the answers to that question tend to say something true about the person giving them. If this kind of deep dive is what you're here for, subscribe and hit the bell. There's a lot more